The number one question I hear from mortgage brokers every single day is how to get more leads. Sure, they like the CRM and there's all sorts of tools out there to grow your business, but at the end of the day, leads equals money. So, the number one thing I would suggest every single mortgage broker does is look at their hand. Well, it's actually the easiest thing ever. Your next lead is in your phone. Okay. So, what you're going to do is you're going to export your list from your phone. If you have an iPhone, you can find it online. Simply type it into Google, your search, and then see how to export all of your contacts into a V card. And then you can import them into your CRM. If you have a Google or an Android phone, you can export your Google contacts as well. So just do a quick search and then import all of that information into your CRM. For today's purposes, I am going to be using GoHighLevel, which is what the MyBroker Pro, our CRM, is built on top of. So if you're an existing user, MyBroker Pro just has a ton of already pre-built workflows, automations, templates, Calendly features, you name it. We've just pretty much dumped everything that you need into one platform, and it's powered by the best CRM on the market, which is GoHighLevel. If you want to learn more about us, you can find our information in the description, as well as if you're looking to get your own GoHighLevel account, please use our affiliate link, and we'll be sure to keep updating you with awesome features like this and ideas to grow your business as well. Okay, let's pretend that you've already imported all of your contacts. To do that, you would just hit this import button and you would import all of your contacts from your phone into here. I would suggest when you're doing this that you add a tag to those clients so you can identify them easily amongst anybody else in your CRM. Add them to this new automation. You know exactly who you're going to grab and put them into your new sequence. Next, you're going to go into automations and you're going to create workflow. If you want to look at the templates, there is already one that's called list reactivation, which honestly, this was kind of inspired by. So you can go and use this, or you can build it from scratch like I'm about to show you now. First thing you're going to want to do is rename your workflow. Then after that, you always have to choose a trigger. What's your trigger going to be? Well, it's going to be adding a tag to those contacts. We can go into here and type tag, and you can find the tag here. Whether this exists already or doesn't, you can add it now. Phone contacts. And you're going to go tag added, and you're going to go phone. You're going to type in phone contacts, and if it doesn't exist yet, you can create it at this point. Save the trigger, and always save your workflow, because there's nothing worse than creating something and going to hit save, and there's an error. Now, after you add this tag, what's the next step that's going to happen? Well, if you're like me and you've had your phone forever, you probably have hundreds, if not thousands of contacts in there. So the first thing I typically do is add a drip. And what a drip is, it means that you're only going to message so many people per hour or per day. And this kind of limits that. So we put in drip mode and we'll do 100 people, let's just say, per day. And then I always like to rename these so that I don't have to click into it to see what it is. So 100 per day. And then that way you'll be able to see it here without having to click in and see it. I always hit save just as a safeguard. Next, you're going to want to send your first text message. You'll type in SMS and we'll do attempt. We'll call this attempt 1. You're going to say your name. You're going to just have a light introduction and tell them what you're doing. You're going to say that this CRM phone number that you purchased is your new business or office number, but that you still have your cell phone so they can call you on either or. You just don't need to tell them it's a CRM number. Would you mind updating my contact details in your phone? And also a reminder that I'm a mortgage broker, and if you ever need anything, I'm happy to help. Cheers. Now, a reminder, if you have to be A2P compliant, that it is going to follow with that reply stop or unsubscribe after the text message when you message somebody new. And depending on where you are and your compliances, you can turn that on or off at your, either at the agency level or at the account level as well. And then it won't look as spammy, but again, you're encouraged to follow your laws and regulations around compliance and sending text messages. So now Here's what we have so far, a little bit of a recap. We add that tag, and now we're going to drip 100 per day, so only message 100 of those contacts per day with this first text message. Now we're going to add a wait step. And what are we waiting for? We're going to wait to see if they reply. And what step are they replying to? The attempt number 1. Wait for reply, and then we're going to do a timeout, and we're going to say 2 days. So basically what this is saying is after I send this text message, we're going to wait for a reply for 2 days. If they reply, what are we going to do? And if they don't reply, what are we going to do? So this is called a branch. So it's going to separate into 2 levels here. If they reply, you can send yourself an internal notification. And why I would suggest this is so that you can reply manually. Of course, with this CRM, you could have ChatGPT reply. You can also have the conversational AI reply via text message. However, these are likely your friends and family, so I think they deserve you to just have a quick reply. So when you set this off, make sure you set some time aside the next day to check your messages in your system to manually reply. So contact replied. And then here I would choose email, and then from your system, and then I would say to the assigned user, and then I would say phone contacts, and then I would put the person's first full name, and then replied. And that's some sort of emoji like an alarm. Like this, there you go. So now you know it's serious, and then you would add in some details here. So you can say something like contact name has replied to your phone contact automations. Please review inbox and reply manually. And then a lot of the time what I'll do is name, and then I'll kind of put some details in here so that you know phone. And then you can put this. I usually put phone raw in case you want to like text or call them from here. Thanks. So you can always test these to make sure they work, but it's nice to get this. You can set this up as a task as well if you are good with reviewing your tasks, but I find a lot of people resort to their business email so they can go in the morning and see who replied to them, and then they can easily click and reply to them. So contact replied, we are going to send ourselves, whoever the user is, an email notifying us that we need to reply. Now, what do we want to do if they don't reply? If they don't reply, we get to do this here. So after 2 days, I would send another text message, call this attempt 2. And this is likely the last one because I find anything after 2 or 3 in a short period of time annoys the people, and they're most likely to reply stop or unsubscribe. So you want to keep it brief, short. These are still friends and family, I would imagine. So the last thing you want to do is annoy them. So from here, I would just do, hey, just checking in. Did you have any questions about my contact info or mortgages? Feel free to share my contact details with friends and family, anyone who needs help with their mortgage. Thanks. I want it to sound short, nice and real. Save that action. So now looking at this again, you're adding a tag. We're sending 100 contacts this message per day. We'll wait 2 days. If they do reply, we want to be notified. And if they don't reply after 2 days, we want to send them a second attempt. Next, you're going to add another wait step, and we will be again waiting for the reply. So we'll go into here, instead of time delay, we're going to choose the contact replied. Which one are we waiting for the reply? Attempt number 2. And how many days or hours or minutes? We're going to say after 2 days, what are we going to do next? So you can see it added a new branch here, but specifically to attempt number 2. So from here, we'll do what happens if contact replies. Now you don't need to reinvent the wheel. We can use a go to and save this and say, if the contact replies, send me this notifications. What happens if it times out? At this point, I would just send myself an internal notification again. And I would probably either do a notification, which will ring you in the system, or an email. If you do an email, do something similar. You can do phone contacts, and then here you can do no reply. And then do a little emoji like an X, something that'll stand out. Then you can say, unfortunately, after 2 attempts, and then you do contact name has not replied. Feel free to message manually or call. And you can put the name here, and you can put the phone here. Go name, you've already kind of got it above. And we can do phone. And again, do the raw phone number format, which just makes it clickable. And who is it assigned to? Assigned user. And we're going to save that action. And we're going to call this no reply. And hit save and hit save. Now this workflow is essentially done. So what you're going to do after you activate this and hit publish, you're going to import all of your iPhone contacts, and you're going to add that tag called phone contacts, and it's just automatically going to plunk everybody into this workflow. So don't forget to hit publish and then hit save. And then that way, when you import the contacts, this actually fires. Now, keep in mind, the one broker we were helping do this had around 3,000 contacts, and he was getting leads off the chart because these are warm contacts. These are people that you know and already know and trust you. So whether they need help, their friends or family needs help, a random person that they just talked to, all of a sudden you're in their brain and they'll be asking you mortgage questions or sharing your contact details. So this is super low hanging fruit. The number one thing I think you should do as a new or experienced broker, because like I said, this one we just helped was an experienced broker, and this was months ago, and he's still getting leads from it because of how big his phone contact list was and because it's dripping X amount per day. So 100% you should do this. If you're my Broker Pro member, reach out. I can just share this workflow with you. And if you're not, feel free to reach out to learn more about my Broker Pro or get your own GoHighLevel account with the affiliate link below. And I'm happy to share this as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, info@mybrokerpro.ca. Otherwise, we'll see you next week because we post new content every Thursday. Enjoy your workflows and automation and get a hold of those phone contacts.